So while we're seeing if anyone has questions live here, one of the questions that we frequently get, Mike, is around should coaches have a niche? And if they have a niche, if so, how do they decide what the niche is?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the word niche, I love the word niche, and I love that you pronounce the word niche instead of niche. I was a New York guy, New Jersey guy, so we all say niche up there, right? We don't have the softer pronunciation like niche. But there's a very popular saying called the riches are in the niches. Okay, but what happens is when we discuss and use the word niche, it feels constricting. So rather, let me use the word focus. Okay, let me use the word focus. And this may actually help, Allison, if I'm cool to share my screen on my iPad, I'll draw this a little bit.
Please do, let me know if you have any.
So let me see here. So you guys will see my iPad kind of share the screen, and Zoom I know tends to hog up your whole screen once you do that. You can hit the escape key if you want. But let me talk about niches. All right, so you guys should see my pad here.
Yep.
All right, cool. So when we talk about a niche, again, it can feel restricting. So what I'd rather talk about is a focus. And there are two kinds of focus primarily. We can have a vertical focus, and we can have a horizontal focus. And I'll explain these with a few examples. A vertical focus is where you focus on one particular industry. We have heard that in the business space. Our verticals are this, this, and this, right? So an example of this is I found online a few years ago a marketing agency that only focused on nonprofits. That's all they did. So nonprofits, NPOs, were their vertical market. They did everything for the NPO. They did websites, they did Facebook ad campaigns, they did social media, they did blogging, podcasting, but that was their vertical focus, the NPO. I saw another agency, all they did was market, get this, casinos.
So Mike, what would be a coach's version of a vertical focus?
Yeah, so with a coach could focus just on executive leaders. A coach could focus just on wellness or health, right? And so what I tell folks is that when we look at the coaching space, most of us are going to fall under three general broad areas, and then we determine what the focus is, right? So we're either going to focus on health, wealth, or relationships.
Now, those are three things. What are those three things? I lost the context, Mike.
Health, wealth, and relationships.
And that relates to what, though?
Our coaching, right? So let me explain this, for example, right? Because you're asking about a focus, right? So then the focus will come under one of these, whether we do a vertical or horizontal.
Okay.
So some of you are in the health and wellness space. I see a lot of folks who are coaching in this space, right? They are the inspirational coach, right? They're the spiritual coach, right? They may not be ICF certified, but they call themselves coaches, and they're in the health space, right? Then we see business coaches or executive coaches, and their primary driver is to help their client earn wealth. And then we see other coaches who are family coaches or relationship coaches or dating coaches, and they fall under relationships. These are the three primary drivers by which prospects are finding us. And I did not come up with this, so don't quote me on this one. It's a little bit more crude, but I laughed when I heard it, right? My Northeast sense of humor. Someone put it this way: people either want to get paid, get laid, or live forever. And I just said, okay, right? Now, where it comes with us as coaches is if you're in the health industry, you've got to that's still a very broad market. And you've got to figure out whether you have a vertical focus or a horizontal focus. Same with the wealth, same with relationships. So allow me to go back to this for a second. So if you're in the vertical focus and you're in the wealth market, right? You might say that I focus only on executive leaders as a coach. That's my only focus. That is my vertical. That's what I do for them. Or you might say that I focus on entrepreneurs and I'm a business coach. I'm not going to be able to spell here.
That's okay.
Entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
So I have a clear vertical focus, right? Then there are other folks who have a horizontal focus. And what they do is they do one thing or one service for all verticals. Let me explain. I've met coaches who say, I'm a DISC certified coach. DISC certified. I have a method, I have a service. I do DISC, right? The DISC personality profile toolkit. And I do this for anyone. I do it for anyone. So they have a horizontal focus. They do one thing, but they horizontally can go across every vertical. Many coaches are mixed up on all of this. They kind of do 3 things for 5 different niches or 5 different types of focus.
That's true.
And so when you can say as a coach, I do one thing for one vertical, now you have focus. It's almost like the crosshairs on a gun, on a scope.
Yeah.
You have focus. So for me, I'm in the wealth industry. I'm in the wealth industry because at the end of the day, clients hire me to help them market a business. Okay. And what I've done is I have focused solely in the vertical of personal branding and niche down even further. I work primarily with coaches and speakers. And it's this clarity that made Allison go, hey, you might be good to talk to our people today. Because I had a focus. If you look at my client list, John Maxwell, Donald Miller, Suzanne Evans, these are all personal brands who are coaches and speakers. And the more I narrowed down my focus, actually, the more and more my business grew. Now,